I'm Cleopatra Ellis, and as you know, we are in the dog days of summer, and it is super, super hot, even here in New York. So, I'm going to do a reaction video today. I'm going to react to some content that is made from one of my very, I would say most favoritist, if that is word, my most favoritist YouTube creator of all time. His name is Martin Liedtke, as you can see right here. I know you may think, now why are we going to watch videos made by this strange looking man? Well, I tell you what, he's not strange looking, and his videos are awesome, so awesome in fact, that for the very first time on my channel, I'm going to talk about another YouTube creator, and I'm also going to just react to someone else's content rather than making my own. And I'm going to do this because there have been a million people trying to imitate this man right here. The knowledge that he digs up and presents is just so complete that no one else can even think of going behind him and making it any better by adding something to it or taking something away. Now this whole video is 3 hours long. By then I'm sure our brains are going to be melted. So we're going to try to get through half of this video, that being 1 hour and a half. So, enjoy this mind-bending information. And also, I decided that this would be the video that I wanted to share, is because he talks about the tarot in the very beginning, about how the cards can predict just about anything that can happen in this world. And one of the cards that no one ever wants to have fall is the Tower, because the Tower means something very bad is coming or something very bad has just happened. So, enjoy the show. We're going to watch it and we're going to react together. I got a little bit of beer left that I'm drinking while we're watching this. And yeah, let's check it out.
Anybody else is cool. I'm Manny H. Okay's in the house. And Anonymous Apocalypse. Okay, good to see you. So the Tower of Babel. Now, what I started to think about was, what was the frame of reference for famous artworks like Bruegel? And I got to thinking about what is the true dimensions of this supposed Tower of Babel. But as I explained, I found out that there's apparently many different versions of the Tower of Babel myth. But they do give you some idea, and there are different values in dimensions for different narratives. But essentially they give you a value for some massive footprint, 1,000 feet wide, that would in some cases hold a tower almost 3 miles high. So I'm not feeling that. I think that's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. What, Jersey Bob, what if it is, I was going to actually suggest this a little bit later, Jersey Bob, okay, saying Dante's Inferno, an inverted pyramid upside down, okay, or a tower, if you like, upside down, which when I propose what I'm proposing, Jersey Bob, I was going to get to that bit. Yes. Is it like Dante's Inferno, different levels down? Is that where the tower is? Going under. But we're going to think about loads of different ideas of what the Tower of Babel actually really is. So the narrative is this. Okay, after the flood and stuff, yeah, they built this tower up to the heavens where God lives. So God's like, hell no, but I'm not going to flood your asses again. But what I am going to do is, okay, is I'm going to discombobulate you all, okay, by making you all have different languages and talking Babel, which is a bit like the internet today, isn't it, really? And everybody just didn't understand one another, and then they were strewn out all over the world, all these different colour and nationalities and people with different dialects. But before then, we had one language, one peoples, and then it all went to shit. So what is the tower exactly? Well, let me just share screen, and we're going to look at Bruegel's. I've got some good books on Bruegel in my room. It's one of my favourite little artists. Just create a bit of volume as well, just in case I need. Okay, so there it is. It's the famous image, but what it does show you, remember all of these paintings are always from a bird's eye perspective, which I find fascinating. What Bruegel's done is he put it in a German, European landscape. So what you find when you look into it is they say the Tower of Babel was near water, and in fact it was on water, and maybe regained land around it. Okay, this looks very Star 40 at the bottom, and it is a classical design, and there's many vaults inside. What exactly is it? It looks a bit like a device, but what you've got here is, maybe this is the second building with Nebuchadnezzar, okay? But it's medieval in these images. Everything seems to point to the Tower of Babel being medieval. We get this image, comes up with the Wikipedia, and it's one of the tarot cards. Later on, I'm going to show you an antique set of tarot from the 1600s, one of the earliest. I've got 2 sets, these are earlier. And I think they give us the clues to our recycled system. I think it gives us clues to everything that's going on. And you know, the tarot is to tell you future, so they have all permeations of what this realm is in the tarot. And one of them is the tower that crumbles in flame, the Tower of Babel. So yeah, they got their shit together and they built a great city, okay? And this is what we need to look for. We need to look for a city and a tower which looks like that. So it's not a pyramid as such, but it is ever decreasing. It has large church-like vaults, and it's slightly inclined, and it's like a corkscrew, a helter-skelter. But this is the general design. Where did the artists get the idea for this design? Because I'm sure they did give you pictures of the Tower of Babel.
Alright, you know what? We should do some copyright right now, because he's getting deep into it. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act in 1976, allowance is made for the fair use for the purpose such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and or research. Fair use is a use that is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay? Spirit had to remind me that we had not said the copyright. Thank you, Spirit.
It was illustrated. There's some other artworks. You can see it's a classical world there, but like a German world or a European world. Green. So whatever happens to this part of the world, the Fertile Crescent, the Levant, Phoenicia, Babylon, was apocalyptic. I mean, after Noah's flood, something really bad happens. I'm going to show you the earliest photographs ever taken of Samarra in 1860. Also, I'm going to show you Jerash in Jordan, and you're going to see the evidence of a great cataclysm. And I can give you other examples. So, right across the Sahara, right across the Arabian Peninsula, right the way into Mesopotamia and Persia, where the Euphrates and the Tigris are, that whole area now is desert. Yes? But was it always desert? No. It was the Fertile Crescent, and now it's desert. So I feel that something apocalyptic happened that made the deserts that you see today there in that band. I think it was some sort of futuristic or future past weapon along the lines of the fasces that turned this place into dust. So there is in Kirchner's Taras of Babel. I'm going to share this book with you. It's an early works, but he goes into some detail. Now, I can't work out for the life of me why Kirchner would engrave, and again, from this bird's eye perspective, something that looks super futuristic even. It looks acoustic, but it has that same sloping upwards on an angle style. That where are they all getting their ideas for the Tower of Babel in their depictions? There's different versions there, a smaller one. Of course, there was the Hanging Gardens of Babel as well. And there's plenty of depictions. This is from the Kirchner book, which shows you this giant tower. Was this really what they built? All the way up to the gates of heaven, up in the sky, to go knock, 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 can we come in, please? And God's like, well, no, actually, you lot actually suck. Keep doing weird things. Here's the Tower of Babel, and it looks, from above, I bet that looks exactly like a device. The way this is like dam-like, and the whole thing looks gadget-like to me, this Tower of Babel. This one isn't doing the incline so much, but it's still that ever decreasing with the inner chambers inside. They all got that same sort of thing in the artwork.
Oh, look, it's the United Nations.
So in modern day, the power structure and the empire has their offices, and it is a version of Brussels in the EU in Brussels. Brussels, this one here, which I have on my wall as well. Tower of Babel. There's some old images there, an engraving.
Oh my God, that would be a great poster.
1700s, and again, it's this same style with the big, massive windows and vaulting, and this
sweet,
this degrees of whatever that is, where it slopes all the way up, just like a helter skelter. So they all got that thing going on. Note that they seem to show that they got the building of it and all of the machinery and mechanism, foundries, everything, all happening at the bottom. Like they've enlisted everybody just to build this tower because it's so important. Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on. Now, what I find is they give you all sorts of accounts. I'll just give you a little idea now when you Wikipedia it. Okay, this thing is 4,000 paces high, this tower, or 1,000 paces thick. So I'm not sure if paces is like feet, or like a meter, like a step. I can't really be sure, so I can't really say. But there's different interpretations. A 14th century traveller said it was 64 furlongs, which is 8 miles high. Okay. So what they do say in popular culture, which I found super interesting, is this. That Peter Bruegel's influential portrayal is based on the Colosseum in Rome, hence their big arches. But while later chronicle depictions of the tower are depicted by Gustave Dor's illustration, resemble the Muslim towers observed in the 19th century's explorers of the minaret of Samsara, which is north of Baghdad, which is a site which is mind-blowing. And I found 1860 photographs of it, and it blew my mind. And it looks exactly like the Tower of Babel. And it looks a bit like Nineveh. And so I went through all the ancient depictions, and I found a complete match for the Great Mosque at Samsara. It was the biggest mosque in the world at a certain stage, was this. So you've got all these different cultures, have all got a tower. The Gnostics, the Mormons, the Islamic tradition, they got it in the Quran. Okay, Midrash, the Greek apocalypse got a tower as well. Okay, Tower of Babel. And Josephus, the Jew, he's done an account of the tower also. Pseudo-Philo done one, and the Book of Jubilees, and they're saying it's the Ziggurat here of Babylon, okay, by Eta Meninaki, which sounds a bit Anunnaki, but this looks nothing like one of the depictions that they show us. It looks like none of the artworks, or none of Kirchner's works, or none of the engravings, period. It looks like, none of them look like a ziggurat. At all, none of them. So other traditions, folklore of the Old Testament, Botswana, Nepal, Arizona, Mexico, Greco-Romano parallel, Samaria and Assyrian parallel, all have the mythos concerning a tower that was going to the heavens, okay, rendering the height of heaven no safer than the earth. And they say giants attempted to take the celestial kingdom, piling mountains up to the distant stars. So piling mountains on top of one another. Then the all-powerful father of the gods hurled his bolt of lightning, fractured Olympus, and threw Mount Pelier down to the ocean below. So that's Zeus and his thunderbolt, which is Faches.
Right.
If you watch Valor Bridge. So yeah, the Aztecs got a version, and Christians, which we know. So yeah, there's loads of different towers, different narratives there, but they all pretty much sum up the same thing. Is we're all talking bollocks, because we're talking the language of Babel, which is the Phoenician language phonetics, coincidentally, isn't it? So the dimension, so it's 1,000 steps. So where is it? Well, the oldest map that we got to cite this is the Mappa Mundi. It's 1290.
Look at that
old
map
in Hereford Cathedral. It gives you the locations of all of these places like Eden, Noah's Ark, and the Tower of Babel, and it's there. So you get it on one river, not two. It's a giant tower, looks like a tower on top of a tower with towers on top of that, and it doesn't bear any resemblance to any towers in any of the artworks. But you want to check out what they show you for Jerusalem. They show you a star fort or that. So
oh my god, let me pause it for a moment.
Like
I'm going to show you how to find his channel, but a few years back he did a live about Jerusalem and the Kremlin in Russia, and oh my god, they are almost the same thing.
A tower we were just looking at. No, that's what I was confused about, you see, because I was thinking, well, if Damascus is still there from the Bible, Jerusalem's still there from the Bible, why isn't the Tower of Babel? And that looks really like, you know, looking down onto some sort of tower, Jerusalem. So that may be one contender, but I'm sure something would have slipped through antiquity about its location being there. I've seen the location of Babylon close to Egypt, in Egypt, close to the pyramids as well. I'll link this up, you can explore it yourself. There's loads of things to explore on the Mappa Mundi. So, back to Kirsch then. Now he shows, and he's lived between 1602 and 1670, and I don't know what his ideas for a giant tower off of the North Pole. You've got Tartaria there, interesting. And then you've got this, like, I don't know, another tower here on
Look at that.
Another world, if you like, hanging off it, which is really, really weird. And then this high, you know, you've got all different languages there.
He be finding stuff, okay?
All the way up to...
Look at this, a tower.
Terra.
Wow, it's a tower.
Terra. And Terra is Earth. So yeah, they were trying to get to the realm that is above us. We've been flooded, we are lost at sea, but that doesn't mean to say there's a greater world above us with more land. I really do think this is the case as well. I really do. There's a Tartarian ocean above us, but it's all connected to a greater land. So yeah, it gives you Kruger little map. Those groovy things. This one is basically Persia. It doesn't give you it's the where Moses went with his gang and took for absolutely ever to go, like, not even that far really. They all lived on manna, so Kalela then was a crop. So, but yeah, it gets into his buzz, but he shows you this. Okay, Nineveh, which is a city you can visit today. I'm going to show you something.
The whole heaven backwards thing.
So it's got a pyramid outside, and what you find with these is...
And that absolutely... I don't want to talk over, so pause it for a moment. It absolutely drives me crazy when people name their kids Nivea. And no offense, if you name some kids Nivea, or you are a kid named Nivea, but damn it, why would you want to be named heaven backwards? Like what?
Bronze Age, biblical era. So why is a star fort there? It's a star fort. Nineveh is 1733, this engraving. Baghdad, also some sort of star fort. But if you cannot deny, this has star fort corners. And this strange tower complex in the middle. Again, where's all the buildings, water going in there. It looks just like a circuit. And then you've got this pyramid outside. So this place is immense, and they're always, what I find is they know exactly what Nineveh looks like, but they know exactly what Babylon looks like as well. How? There's this period. So it's water completely surrounding Nineveh. Look at this thing here. Like two.
This is what his channel looks like. If you want to go look for it without me talking. It's Martin Liedtke.
Like two horseshoe magnets with the obelisk in the middle, creating charge. Obelisks everywhere. Oh, this Greco-Romano world looks like it's been murdered. And then you've got these, but no buildings as such, just these giant Greco-Romano circuit board city looking affairs. Okay, and that's what you get. In the 1600s, how does he know? How does he know what Nineveh even looks like? Okay, because we get to a bit later and I can find a match, but with more detail, more mind-blowing. So let me just get back into these images. So I'll share this book with you in the descriptions. Don't know many people are here right now. 575. Welcome to Flat Earth British. We've got a long way to go with this post, guys. A long way to go. It's all going to be mind-blowing. So please make sure to share this show out. It will be share-worthy. Okay. So what you find is, apparently according to Kirsta, this is the town of Babel with a tower in it. Okay, it's not as massive as the other towers we've seen. You've got this deserty wilderness outside, but this exact same sort of Nineveh structure with water going into it, and water all the way around. Very circuit board city-like again. And their frame of reference, something in the 1600s, I don't even know. It's just really futuristic stuff. So this is what Kirsta was looking at. The Tower of Babel. So that's some sort of an analogy. Okay, we move on. So the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, there's been many documentaries concerning how did they water the Hanging Gardens of Babylon and get it all up there. But you can see this Greco-Romano world, it's on a river, and you've got again this twisty, helter-skelter looking tower, which is not that massive, not 3 miles high. Okay, so the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which looks Greco-Romano with the fountains, and it's got the Phoenician column tops like you get on the Hermitage in St. Petersburg, and obelisk corners, which you get on all civic buildings in the Western world today. So almost as if all of this stuff didn't really happen all that long ago. Look at this image here. Enclosure within inside an enclosure, and then this giant obelisk, this giant building.
Wow.
Flying a flag. And that's meant to be Babylonia. So that's a completely different style of version of. And that's the Hanging Gardens, I guess, in a mud-flooded environment. But I'm guessing if there's all mud everywhere, now, you know, unless you can think of anything else that's happened to that Greco-Romano world in the background there, maybe you should comment to me, because it looks like it's all sunk in sloppy old mud. You've got all that superior rotunda, and it's all in sloppy old mud with no path up to it. Use the paths going over the sloppy old mud. The sloppy old mud that's there. So the only way you could have a garden is if it was elevated out of the mud after a mud flood. Would you agree? Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. So yeah, this will be a link to you. All of these books, everything that I show you in this post, except for some of the images, because they're on my Google. Okay, and it gives you family trees for after said floodage. Okay, let's move on. So that's the Kirsta book. Now, this is mind-blowing. So what we got is the Wikipedia says that Bruegel's idea for the painting that he did of the Tower of Babel was the minaret at Samarra in Iraq, which we're going to be looking at all photographs in a minute. But what you've got here, this is 1733, Lead van der Haar atlases. He's the greatest engraver, and we're going to look at how he's doing this work in a little bit of this blog a little bit later. So yeah, you'll be able to get this book linked. What it does show you is this. So Assyria and Babylon apparently, and that's the city of Babel. Again, identical to what Kirsten is showing us, and this is a completely different engraver. Again, from a bird's eye perspective, how is he even conceiving this? And you've got these water things all the way around. Well, this is not like a defensive place, because it can't be, because you could just basically walk over any one of these. So there doesn't seem to be any problems with anybody attacking them. But the water is all the way around. It's completely rectangular. You've got a tower in the middle, which is apparently the Tower of Babel. And what you've got is, at the main entrance there's a river going in, okay, and it looks like there's from there to there some sort of laser beam or a bolt going across, like these are Van de Graaff generators. Now that makes perfect sense, because it'd be like a force field around the entire town. And if this is a circuit board city, which I am definitely thinking it is, I'm thinking they all are. Of course, that was my phone saying stuff to me spookily. So yeah, it's exactly like Nineveh. It's in a square enclosure. Okay, it's got these things which are domes, which are above water. It looks like there's a little beam going across there, maybe. It goes right the way through to the other end, and it's in the middle of nowhere at all. And it's not defensive, because anybody could just walk in there, no problem whatsoever. Okay. So where did he get his ideas for basically style for drawing that? We're going to look into. This is one of the most mind-blowing books you can get. Look at this for Nineveh. So Nineveh's there today. You can visit, but it doesn't look as good as what we're going to look at for Samarra. But Samarra is identical to this. Coincidentally, Samarra is around 1,100 paces wide, and I bet this is too, like the footprint of the Tower of Babel. Coincidentally, again, it's got exactly the same idea as Kirsta, and this is, maybe 100 years later, and he knows what it's about. Got all of these ornamental gardens, everything.
Look at the different gates.
Back. But I noticed this, which was really amazing, is, excuse me, no, it's on one of the other pictures. So it's a star fort. It's meant to be from the Bronze Age.
That is a huge city.
It is a star fort with this skinny sort of thing in the middle, church building machine. Again, looks like it's a circuit board. From above, that would look like the central processor, and that would look like a motherboard. And there's no doubt about it in my mind, that looks like a motherboard. So that's Nineveh. And then it gives you the building and the construction of the Ark, which I seem to know a lot about. Okay, in this book, and they even show you that they saved dragons in the Ark. There's 2 dragons there, and dodos apparently. So they had dragons in Noah's Ark, which I find interesting. Okay, so we're going to skip through. We don't really want to look at the Ark. We've done that on the last post, and I want to get through to. There's the deluge. Is these so. This one here is Nineveh again, from a different angle. Again, bird's eye perspective. Not sure what's going on. But again, from above, it looks like a circuit board. What kind of building is that thing? Again, water all the way around. Again, it's a star fort. Now, what is it? Yeah, so this is 1733. It looks like a circuit board. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's Nineveh. It's meant to be out of the Bronze Age. It's meant to be biblical. Yeah, it's a star fort. What is that? So Van der Haar.
Look at these other cities and stuff.
Well,
not other cities.
These books, funnily, and
other
they don't
buildings.
Want me looking at Flemish art or Flemish atlases. Did you know that? So that's why I do. This is maybe one of the reasons why. Is there seems to be a massive aerial building that looks like the Eiffel Tower outside of Nineveh Star Fort from the Bronze Age. What's it doing there? What else could it be? 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 What else could it be?
It does look like the Eiffel Tower.
So that's a bit out of place and a bit out of time as well, isn't it? From what people proposed about the ancient world. Plus, I find it incredibly interesting that all of these images that you get of Nineveh are staples in the Bible, which I find fascinating, by the way. So, yeah, we got some images of these towers. Now, I don't think that it was the only tower. I really don't. They're doing it nowadays, aren't they? All of these towers it's the Illuminati penis, isn't it? Let's just build a big fucking tower. Look at this. This tower's not looking too good. This is like a piece of rubbish tower. But again, it's got them sloping lines, which we will see on the examples of the Samara images. And there it is going up. Now, what I want to draw your attention to is this. With these Lead van der Haar engravings, I have proposed a dozen times, I've mentioned, how are they pulling this off? I mean the engraving. I mean, it's done from a bird's eye perspective.
Right.
And every single person is doing a different act. It's all action shots. You know, these are making the substances for building of the tower. Foundries.
How did they do these pictures?
Okay, and all of the stuff going on for the building of the tower. Now, how is he pulling it off? Through imagination and from a bird's eye perspective. So he's putting his mind up in the air and he's doing all of this use on the floor.
Look at the detail.
Wealth of engravings. I've got maybe 100 different Van der Haar atlases myself. So how is he doing that wealth of information? So, computer generated? No. No, I think there's a technology that I'll talk about a little bit later in this post, definitely going down, and I think it's happening, and it's giving us clues to how they're making the Grandmaster artworks and some of the sculptures. So it's a completely different version, but again, Greco-Romano, and the superb Tower of Babel. Okay, let's have a look at this one. It's in green and pastured lands, not desert.
Wow.
You got this tower behind.
That's an incredible detail.
Lots of obelisks because it's the tech, isn't it? And European medieval ships, because all of this looks like it's happening in medieval times, and it's all in a bird's eye perspective. Again, you got this giant arch here, and it looks like it's been there a while because people, like they do in the old days of the Gothic churches, is they coupled or just put houses up towards it next to the wall, and the size of these arches, the size of this thing, but it's definitely the Phoenicians. They're all over it. They've got their statues on it, and it's in Phoenician for sex back. It's the Phoenicians.
Never underestimate the
and we're speaking
Phoenicians.
the language of Babel. Babylon Confusions is where God's like, right, I can put you out everywhere, you're all going to go everywhere in the world, and you're all going to talk a lot of bollocks for the next couple of thousand years. Alright, just like that. Look at this thing here. So futuristic, but not completed. So yeah, I'm going to share this with you, and this one is Nebuchadnezzar transports to bring all the rest to Babylon. So he's doing a bit of
all the rest of what?
And it looks like that he's burning, Nebuchadnezzar is burning a European castle, looks Germanic. And then he's nicking all the loot, which is basically what you do. Campaign season in the old world. You should go and nick some shit in a hot country. Fancy a holiday this year, Cuthbert? Oh yes, can we take over a poor country and nick all of their shit? Oh yes.
Okay, so another thing I should tell you is Martin has a sense of humor, so he likes to talk in other people's voices and then talk back to it. This thing he's about to do now. And also, you may wonder exactly where is this man from? He lives in Wales.
Yes, that was definitely what we were going to do. Good, will there be any women? Yes, can we go to one of those hot countries where the women wear virtually nothing? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Maybe French Polynesia. Yeah, that's where we're going. Not. That's stupid. People believe in, like, the globe, and then they show you the geode, so That's apparently the globe we live on without the water. Fucking hell. Yeah, whatever. Spinning through vacuum of space. The blob. Yeah? Actually, we've got Island California there. The gym. Pathetic. Ridiculous. I can't believe they're still doing that in this day and age. I think all the new millennials, I think they'll all end up flat earthers. Probably. Because it is. And people just like, after all what's happening on the BBC, they're going to string them up soon. Nobody trusts these mainstreamy fuckers anymore. So that is definitely a star fort. Apparently from the biblical era, Bronze Age star fort, out of the Bible. Absolutely fantastic. And that's Baghdad. And I've seen images of Baghdad on old maps, and that looks like a cog, like it does with Jerusalem too, coincidentally. So Baghdad is a star fort. Wow. And it looks Greco-Romano too. Wow. So yeah, lots of juice in there. I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to move on because time is not my friend. So these are Samarra, Iraq, 1860. The earliest photographs they're taken. I was mind blown when I saw them.
Well, the earliest photograph.
My brother. Jesus just left Chicago, headed for New Orleans, is what I hear. Is that so? Okay. Okay. What got me is this site, and how come I haven't heard more about it? It does state actually it's something that has not been excavated for many years, and it's just the most mind-blowing site. So can you imagine walking on that path and seeing the size of these structures and
wow.
brick inside, red brick? It is Roman. We'll have a look at it a bit later. But so this site is connected with Baalbek, Heliopolis, and it's in a similar area. It's north of Baghdad, and I think this is a really good. I think this is a good chance that this is the original site of the Tower of Babel, and this is why. So that is the tower that Brigal used, and it's a quite considerable height. People walk up it in the modern day.
Look at that brickwork.
Because they tarted it all up. This was the biggest mosque in the world.
Doors?
It fell 1,000 years ago. The Byzantines came along and smashed it, like they did with Baalbek. They smashed that too. The rest,
okay, this is the mosque from earlier.
But what we're seeing is these flat, horizontal bricks. This is the Romans. And this enclosure looks exactly like Nineveh, and exactly like the old depictions of Babel. But it's Roman, it's red brick and Roman arches, and massive. And everything else is all of these bricklets. Something really bad happens. And what you're going to see as well, guys, is, to me, if something is ancient, does entropy really start from the bottom? I mean, the atoms just rising up off the bricks over thousands of years. Because all of these buildings have got, like, you know, the bottom's missing. Like they've been hit off with some flood water. I'll show you a few examples along this wall.
Whoa,
so
those people look so little.
Thing here, made of bricks. How many bricks in that, guys? Millions. And then it goes underground, seemingly. And what is that? There. This was a massive world in this Samarra.
It was.
You can see why they went to war with Iraq. To hide and fuck all this shit up. See what I mean about entropy? Why would it really attack the bottom bit and not the top bit? That makes no sense to rock the bottom, not the top. So it almost like water's come rushing through here, or water has been there on the ground prior to a flood, and it's just taken off all of this, which makes perfect sense. We see it replicated all in Athens. We see it replicated all in the antique world. Is this bottom bit missing? Which I don't think is entropy. I think it is worn away through water.
Wow, from the inside.
Floods. You see the same thing in British cities. I've seen it in Lincoln. I've seen it in Nottingham. Got the same stone damage. Even Glastonbury had that damage. So I don't imagine how many bricks went into that. Wonder what these things were. This was a floor. These alcoves here, don't know. Probably some of the device of what this thing was. And look at the size of it. So it's seemingly as big as Belbeck, which we're going to look at after this as a contender, because the plaza deck, if you want to call it, to the temple of Bacchus or Belus. That looks like a face there.
Well, it is a man. Or is that a woman?
So yeah,
Right
that's
there.
massive, isn't it? Why the big doors when humans are only little like this? Just incredible. Again, putlock holes, so this was the floors coming out, and you can see the original decoration
Wow.
there. Must have been something to behold. I was trying to imagine what it would be like when it was up and running. Millions of bricks involved. The flat bricks, they're Roman. And then something come along to do this. Turning all the tiny little bricklets. Wow. And any meltologists out yet? How can you deny this has not been melted? Look at it. It's all red brick. It's not mud brick, it's red brick. And this is Roman. And it's all just fucked up and melted. And everything else is just bricklets. 1860s is showing that all of these antique sites are still in the afterthroes of an apocalypse. Look what come through here and did that. Try and imagine the forces that would rip the fascia off of there. And it just leave... I can't even imagine the forces that would do that. Because I know what it's not. Thousands of years of sandstorms and rain and what have you. It's not. Because look at these bricklets, these bits of the old world, just all strewn. And you see that everywhere. So there it is from outside. This is a rectangular enclosure. It did have water. And it's got a tower in the middle. Exactly like what we see with Nineveh and Babylon in the old depictions. There seems to be a lot of mud gathered up on these pillars and a lot of the... but it's the same structure, essentially. But as I said, you can see Nineveh in the modern day. I think this is a strong contender for Babylon. Look at this. So, Tower of Babel, Roman. Well, this definitely looks the case. And in the middle is a wonky column, or a column, or a tower that has these, like a helter-skelter. Exactly like Brighouse picture. So it looks a little bit like Colchester in England after the Roman remains there, which we're going to look at later in images of the day, for a comparison. And you will see that they're identical. And nowadays just sheep, but if you imagine the size of this mosque when it was up and running, biggest on earth, and all of it has been reduced to bricks except for the foundations essentially. In modern day, people are going up this tower, they put steps up it. It's a lot bigger than you imagine. People are little tiny things on it here. And I think it's a strong contender. And it's in the same circuit board, old world setup, which we're going to look at in a little bit as well. It definitely looks like it's been covered in mud. And why they got these huge places out in the middle of nowhere near no civilization? Look at the forces that did that. Looks to be rebab, maybe, is it? No. It's just dressing from the builders. Absolutely fantastical forces that must have done that. And this must have been a really massive wood building, but it looks a bit Christian to me. But maybe the style over the door more Moorish, but that's North African, and we're in Persia, maybe Persian. That tower there, that corner where everything's missing, was massive. This is a massive thing. Out in the middle of nowhere. And this, out in the middle of nowhere, part of the complex as well. Melted. Completely destroyed. There's the mosque they got in the modern day there on the site, near to it. I find it interesting that these are 1860s. Why would they have a chain link fence outside?
Is that a chain link fence?
Or is that a Faraday cage? Because this is a device. And it's still active with its golden dome. I mean, erect. Food for thought. Anyway, so look at it. It's all in the middle of nowhere. This Samara site, in the middle of nowhere, and you can see all the old civilizations, walls, streets, houses, disappeared off the face of the earth. It's a terrible apocalyptic happening. You can see the other side of the walls a little bit better, but again, it's exactly the same rectangular setup and exactly the same Tower of Babel setup as well. Look at this. I tried to imagine the forces. That's a believable shot, that is. So I wonder why they never really put this as a contender, especially when the dimensions are there and it looks like it, and the artists are using it as a template for the Tower of Babel. I think they would have mentioned that. Look at this. So windows blocked up? No. Some sort of alcoves when the floors were in. Maybe some cottages. Don't know what that is. Slit. But all the bottom bit is all gone because, you know, maybe water coming through. It looks like water damage to me. And that, look at the size of these things. For scale. That's why that guy's there, for scale. These are massive guys. But really very Roman looking. And that Roman wall there. So, a massive complex. Biggest
I'm going to get some cake. I'll be right back.
Identical to Nineveh, identical to all the old engravings of Babylon. Identical. Why is it not? Funny how they put him in there for perspective. Look at the height of these walls. Wow, this is a massive complex. And look what ate away all of this here. All the bottom and all of the top bits left. Water. When rushing through here, all this was underwater. All this was flooded. You can see. All the bottom bit and all the top bit is fine. Rain comes from above. Water comes from below as well. I think that's what's going on. So there it is. Well, amazing sight. I'm so chuffed that I come across this, and I think it's a strong contender. There it is. Circuit board city technology. All gone to rack and ruin. Captured 1860. I wonder why they blasted that through there. That's not a door that was there before. Interesting.
Cheesecake.
Again, all the brick exposed on the bottom. So, trillions and trillions of bricks. And you know, when we look into Baalbek, how they're building or getting these materials, but out here, red brick as well. It's all got to be baked. And you need red clay. I'm afraid you only get that in a place like Europe, but this place is deserty, so you're not going to get a red brick there, but we're seeing Roman brick. So, you know, this place was built when this place was green. It was a green land, the Fertile Crescent. So, we have 673 of you watching. Thanks for popping by. Thanks, Vibes. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks, Jess Soldier. Love. My friend Knowledge is in the house. Okay, so amazing. Well, we've got a long way to go, yeah? Be buckle in, guys. So what we're going to look at now is Baalbek. This place is mind-blowing. Again, Heliopolis. This is
cheesecake.
Babylon. We're in Babylon now. This
with buttercream icing
was targeted up by the Romans, and it got taken out. These columns here, these are all remaining of the Temple of Belus, or Temple of Bacchus. And they are on these megalithic blocks, which are notable. They are mind-blowing in complexity and size. We'll go into how they arrived and got this stone here in a moment, but it's mind-blowing. Can you see all of this old stonework which have been on the face of these unbelievable size megaliths? So these pillars, 120 feet high.
Wow.
All that's left apparently after an earthquake in the 70s.
This ridge up here looks like a lot of the architecture here in Rochester.
But you got that scrolling thing, which you get with the Phoenicians and Corinthian times.
This place here is old too.
Okay, and this temple is the biggest in the world. It is mind-blowing in comprehension and size. Can you see an old roof? There would have been a building coming out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it is beyond belief the size of Baalbek. Now, what you find is the base itself is 1,000 steps. Base of the Tower of Babel is 1,000 steps for 1,100. So it's the same size base, but we can't say whether it was this great chord was the footprint for the Tower of Babel, because there seems to be missing masonry bit like, what did they do with all the mud? What did they
Baalbek.
do with all the masonry? So this temple is mind-blowing. But above all, from above, okay, it looks like a circuit board. No.
A fun drinking game would be to take a shot every time he says the phrase mind blowing. You'll be real drunk.
It looks exactly like a circuit board. There it is today. You can visit Baalbek. It looks very Roman to me. And, you know, this thing here has been falling down since time immemorial, but it hasn't fallen yet. And what we're going to look into is these. Now, there's the series Ancient Aliens. You get like Sukalo saying, oh yeah, well the platform for the plaza on top of Baalbek is only big enough because it's like for the mothership to land on, you know. So, you know, they know of these tunnels that are inside and behind these megaliths that are 800 tons apiece. There's only a few that they put this entire building on, and it's built by giants. Some narratives were built by Cain. So wall called Solomon's or Cyclopean courses at Baalbek. Cyclopeans, because only the Cyclops is going to put them there. Look at the size of these in that old engraving. And this is in Lebanon also. This I find this fascinating. And they got this Antiquitech cage in this corner. I'm not sure what's going on with this, but this piece here is 1,300 tons. It's the biggest carved stone in the world. And they were going to deliver it to the Baalbek complex. Apparently, it never got there. How, on horse and cart? How were they going to get it there? Well, apparently there's tunnels that go from this quarry all the way under the ground, and they come up in Baalbek under that platform. I shit you not. That's an interesting bit snapped off. I wonder what's with that. That doesn't look like a bit of quarried stone. This looks like it's actually not quarried at all, but fallen over. There is another example, Baalbek in the Lebanon area, Baalbek area, of these huge megaliths that are apparently on the base. And this is the ancient quarry, apparently. There is 1,200 tons of stone, sandstone. And the temple of Bacchus image, all of the pillars are still intact in there. They've got a town around it now as well. Looking a little bit greener than I imagined. And these old images are from the 1800s. These are glass plate demographs, and they're really early, and they're the first images you will see when they discovered Baalbek. These are the first images. Can you imagine walking in and seeing things that are too big for people, and then seeing the printer from Rome, owls there, look. Celtic banding. That's interesting. But mind-blowing. Scale. Doesn't even look that bad in these photographs, this temple entrance here. And the size of these column tops. Can you imagine the size of the structures? This is the ancient fucking world, guys. They're supposed to be on horse and carts. How are they doing this? This is the top of a 120-foot high column. How do you think they're getting it up there? In the ancient world. In the Bronze Age. Apparently. Make any sense? Advanced technology. A lot of this is probably 3D printed on some massive scale anyway. So these megaliths that you're witnessing on the bottom, there it is, that giant stone. So it's there in the old photographs. They managed to capture it. But it's immense. It is unimaginably big. Built by giants. 4 giants. Phoenicians. Because only they could have lifted the stones. And why? You know, this is basically, there is the artist's interpretation, right, from an excavations in 1911. That was the last that was done. Okay? And they map out a circuit board city. But the size is ridiculous. So the complex is located on the immense raised plateau of 5 meters. So that's that plateau or that plaza. It's 5 meters, 16 foot in the air. Over an earlier T-shaped base consisting of podium, staircase, and foundation walls. These walls were built out of 24 monoliths. Only 24 monoliths, guys. At the lowest point weighing approximately 300 tons each, and the tallest retaining wall on the west, the second course of monoliths containing 3 stones, only 3 stones, which is 62 feet long, made of limestone, 800 tons apiece, and they were apparently unused in a nearby quarry here, which I just showed you, and often exaggerated, but they say it's around 1,100 stones. The 5th largest stone is 1,200 tons, lies in the same quarry. Well, this quarry is slightly higher than the temple complex, so no lifting was required to move the stones. Thought the foundation there run 3 enormous passages the size of railway tunnels, because they were railway tunnels. So that's how they got it there, through massive tunnels that are under the complex from the quarry, apparently. So there's the Temple of Bacchus and the Temple of Jupiter. There's a academic argument about which temple belongs to which god, and the Lebanon one. Now the Lebanon is Phoenicia, as you know, so this place was definitely Phoenicia, Baalbek, and their capital Heliopolis. Okay, so, but it definitely looks like it's been buried a lot. These look like the tops of pillars, and they look like they should be going a damn sight lower, and it was a huge monster. Anyway, so Baalbek, 1,000 feet, it could be a contender, I guess, for the Tower of Babel, but what if it is just a tower? Bear in mind that it's all circuit board cities, Goddage, he confused all the languages, everyone's speaking Babel, everyone's speaking...
It's a computer tower.
Not one language anymore. Everything is confused. This is a tower. It's also a Tower of Babel, because it uses phonetics in the English language and all of that in its algorithm. What if that's what we're talking about? And the Tower of Babel is an analogy for what is happening now on the internet and the awakening. And this thing here, the Tower of Babel. Why not, guys? The Tower of Babel. Now, we're going to move on. New subject. So I definitely think we're going to look at other contenders or other places in this vicinity which show signs of Armageddon. Okay, guys. But I definitely think Baalbek is a good contender, but there is missing stone, so no. But I definitely think Samara is identical to the images of the old depictions of what Babylon, the city, and the tower look like, and it's still there today. So why isn't it? Because they want to big it up. It went 3 miles fucking high. So remember, hang on, let me just delete these a second. Now, remember I mentioned these incredibly detailed pictures that you see in the Lee Van der Haar atlases that are like, what's going on? Exactly. They are from a bird's eye perspective, and I proposed he was used since some sort of technology to capture what he was seeing in real life. What you say, Matt? He was witnessing the building of the temple of the Tower of Babel. Maybe. So they used this in the past, the camera lucidia. Now, isn't that funny how it's almost lucid, but it's also Lucifer, isn't it? So the camera lucidia they had in the past, was a laser, or a prism, and it would basically superimpose an image onto paper or canvas for the artist to trace. This is how grandmasters were pulling off, say for example, the Mona Lisa and some of the old sculptures as well. Here's the evidence. Also got some old books showing this technology. So it's a prismatic projector, and it will send an image onto a canvas or paper for an artist to copy. And this is the camera lucida, and it will give you like some of this. This is a video that I can link, which is a guy in my emails, Brian, spelt in the Welsh way, linked to me, and highly interesting. I'm not going to play the volume, but what it will say, Secret David Hockney book, and it talks about exactly what I just explained to you. Okay, that they were using a projector and they would superimpose it onto a paper or a canvas through this lens, a bit like camera obscura, and this guy shows you an example of using it in the modern day. It is very doable. They were doing it, okay, and they were coming up with incredible still art, which always blows my mind to think how they were putting any of this still art. If you've got a projection and you're putting it straight onto a canvas, why wouldn't you? They had it, still art and lifelike, hyper-realistic art.
Wow, look at that.
Like that apple there. That's nothing to do with me. I didn't actually paint that.
That apple looks very suspect, okay?
Hyper-realistic art, lifelike people, lifelike scenarios, like all of that stuff going on in there, which apparently has been painted.
They're out of control for that damn apple.
Masterworks.
They're wild as hell.
He's just doing it with the old school. That's really trippy, isn't it? It's beautiful. The old school easel and paintage and a bit of blending, but or to achieve this.
What's on her forehead? Oh, it's a jury
thing. Using that camera. Okay,
look at that chihuahua.
Old depiction there.
No.
Like a Tesla tower, and it's also mind controlling the poor little mousey in bed. That's the first ever sneaker, by the way. So let's have a little look through. There's Bacchus, god of wine, fertility, which gives everyone liver failure eventually. And I think they're talking about something else anyway, probably adrenochrome or something. So anyway, I think that camera is definitely. Oh, what's going on there? Oh, that's
what?
We're definitely using that sort of technology is what I'm thinking, and the sculptures as well. It makes perfect sense. This is an Electrum. Okay, I've talked about this in my first book. The properties of this unbelievable conductivity, and this Electrum was thought to be over all of the obelisks that you would witness in antiquity. They were all covered in Electrum because they were a technology. Sorry, I don't know. That just slipped out. Don't know what that is. Sorry. Seems to be all sex stuff now. Don't know. Don't know. What's going on? Anyway, hyper-realistic art, like, you know, capturing that. Could they have used camera lucidia? I think so. Okay, these are really cool images anyway.
They look like germs.
Let's move on through them. Oh, look at this little Christmas card here. May yours be a joyful Christmas. Here's a picture of the dead Robin. Well, thanks, Auntie Betty. That's nice. Remember, Jesus died. No, wasn't he born? Oh yeah, that's it. You don't really know, do you? No, I don't. I've never actually read the Bible or been to church. I watched Jesus Christ Superstar on the telly. That was good. What you think, Adolf? He makes nice pictures of flowers. A bit gay. He's arty, isn't he? So, let's have a look. So, ooh, John Waterhouse, my favourite post-Raphaelite author, artist. And he gets hyper-realistic. Is he out there in the forest? Out there in the woods? That tapestry's going to drag in the water. So that's our theory and legend. We're going to look a little bit of that later on as well. So hyper-realistic art. Looks like it's a photograph. I think a camera Lucidia would definitely deliver a nice image. So you got to watch his ginger with me. Just saying. I don't know where that come from. So, yeah, you don't want the old hag or one of these fuckers sitting on your chest, bugging you all night, saying stupid shit. Because that happens. Egyptian mummified cats. Okay, we're moving on. So, I've got plenty of images for later. So now we're going to have a little giggle, okay? Because this is what we do on Flat Earth British. 714 of you. It won't be too bad, okay? I'm sure your sensibilities will heal eventually. So what you've got here is a medieval depiction, lead singer of In Excess, Michael Hutchins. What? Too much? Doesn't matter. You can see nothing yet. What we got here? Okay, so here's a chick sat in the Tower of Babel. This is what was really going on. So I'm going to fuck all your languages up. None of you are going to understand. Gringo. Senor. Gracias. Prego. Tissue.
Lord,
That's
he done about talk me to sleep.
Konnichiwa. Oh, fucking hell,
Alright, let's fast forward past the
all the
silly
different
part.
languages. Alright, hang on. This is a little cake you can buy. And it's having a little dance. See it. Okay, I'm getting by myself. Like I said, it was like a hysterical
My
brightness.
goodness.
I didn't see the cake for a while. And it looks a little bit like Mesopolis. Looks a bit like Heliopolis as well. And it's big. This is a big device. I know the steps you think for people to sit on, but he doesn't look too comfortable there at all. I'm thinking this was some sort of water vortexing technology. Two uses and generating a charge as well. Look at the state. What hit it? What hit it? Look at it. And reduced all of that amphitheatre to stone. Mind you, there's entrances in there. Everything's got undergrounds. This place is full of tunnels. That machine they used for the Channel Tunnel, where is it now? Sold it to China, did they? Because they're tunnelling underneath us, I think. They better not try and come up and take over, because they're only little. We'll be able to drop kick those fuckers. It ain't gonna be happening. Okay, just saying, they're tunnelling. So, this place is massive. And all of them stones from the old, what was there, the city that was there. Every one of these bricklets is dressed stone. Oh my god. This place was immense. And it's in the middle of nowhere. This is the old world. Shattered by the apocalypse. Whoa! Look at it!
Oh, that's bricks.
All
bricks.
the columns just laying down. And the oh, that is so trippy. What forces could have caused that?
Like, who was taking these pictures and what were they taking them for?
The Romans and these old. This doesn't even look like it needs composition. I mean mortar. These look like mortarless stones because they're hewed that well. In the case of the bricks, the Roman they used volcanic ash in their mortar, wrought like dead, and it was rock hard. That's why a lot of it is still there today. Not so much for this though, but it definitely looks like Roman pillars. My God, everything's just from stones. All of that is all built in. It's apart from the scale, it's the scale of the devastation. Look at the size of this place.
I feel like I've seen that place before.
Oh my God.
That round place, this place?
Biblical. Literally. And there's some of the stones on the side, and there's a modern day town there, Jeresh. My God. It does have a lot of similarities to Baalbek, its scale, its temples, Corinthian tops, but the whole thing's just so messed up. The biggest temple complex in the world is Parthenon. It's on the top of Mount Olympus in Athens, and that thing looks exactly like this. It's all.
We are halfway through this video, so I'm going to read the copyright again.
All of those stones. What made that happen?
Alright, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, allowances is made for the purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and or research. Fair use is a use that is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Just unreal devastation. Look at that. And it really does look like it's happened not too long before these photographs. It really does. The temples go right off into the distance. All of them white bits there were bits of city. This was an immense city in the ancient world. Repeated pictures. So that is Jeresh. We got some more photographs of the apocalypticness of this part of the world. We're moving on. Tara, I've shown some tarot cards in the past.
Oh, here we go, the tarot
particularly
cards.
These are from 1760. The ones I showed last time a little bit earlier, later, excuse me. And I think because they're to do fortune, I think that they tell us everything about what's happening in this realm.
I agree.
So what exactly? There's water bursting out of like a church machine on top of a ball, which is on a chalice. Okay. Well, some of these it'll be self-explanatory. They do give you a lot of goblets, which look like they got blood in them,
5 of Cups.
and some geometric shapes, which got numbers on them.
7 of Cups.
No pictures yet. Okay, so Roy the Coop, there he is there with his happy hat on. He looks like he's got some horns going on, and he's got
The King of Cups.
massive red-topped baton, and he's doing the old "I'm a little teapot shorthand" stop thing. And again another royal, this time with a crucible and
the
a crown
Queen of Cups.
and a scepter, because nothing new under the sun, and they do the same today because King Inch
The
just
Knight
done
of
it.
Cups.
No sausage finger. There's Cavalier here on a tiny little donkey. He's got the Holy Grail full of blood, or the goblet, which looks like it's got goblet looks like it's got blood. Also that Valet de Cour, and the 1760 Infinity S.
The 2 of Pentacles.
Interesting little iconography on that. So they're going to tell your fortune using these, apparently, 1760. And you can pull that card up. Cavalier with a baseball bat, with tiny horse. And here is baseball bat.
The Ace of
We've
Wands.
got flames coming out of this one. And a chick holding it. Don't know. But one thing this looks like is fasces. Looks like fasces.
Fasces are direct
that
energy
does it.
weapons.
That does. That looks like fasces. And that he looks even more like 2 fasces bound together. No. What? More complex fasces. Weird. Wow. Okay. So, Roy the Baton, he's got a big baton and a funny hat and some Phoenician armour. Okay. She's got a big feather. Reign of Baston. And he's got a bat as well, baseball bat. So you get to the end, oh look, that's definitely a weapon, is in the sword and the crown with all its bags and whatever coming off. So I don't know what that means if you pull that card, but some of the later ones are pretty self-explanatory, especially when you hit the old skeletons, you know what I mean? Okay. So, elliptical bits, and strange King Age. Okay, let's move on, down to the end. So, I don't know how they're going to tell you your future, some of the end ones are a bit weird.
Oh, it's the last card, the world.
You get a woman that looks like Venus, Juggage, and noise, judgment from above. Everyone's in the water praying, oh shit, we're dead. Judgment. And that one's the soul. The sun's going to get fucking on Friday.
These are some cute cards.
Oh really? Should we get in the water? There will be any. It's going to evaporate. So, okay. Stay out. You go out at night. It'll be cooler. Okay. La Toilette.
The star card.
Okay, she's having a little wash in the pond, as you do. Personal hygiene's
The
essential.
tower.
And there's the Mason or a Building of God, which is a tower. Nostradamus' depictions. Michael, his
Watch
son,
this whole video
shows
for
the
this
tower,
moment.
which has been hit by flames. And similarly with the Tower of Babel. This one's been hit by flames from above. Zap zap bitch. Okay. Diablo. So this is the devil. He's got 2 people with horns on their heads, with tails, and they're chained to him. And he's got a pair of titties. He's got a little willy and titties and wings and a silly face and silly blonde hair, which is weird. Devil. Yeah, it makes sense. A devil would have titties. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. And death. Okay, he's coming to cut everyone's heads off and do gnarly shit.
Is that the River Styx?
So there they are, the tarot cards, the Hangman, apparently that's bad shit if you pick that can. You've got to pick the lover can. That's what you've got to do. Like in the film.
It will.
James Bond, Live and Let Die, I think it is. The one where they're in New Orleans and he manages to score.
I absolutely love New Orleans.
Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. Jane Seymour. So I'll link them up later. We don't want to be taking all day on them. And this is just me showing you the Great Wall of China. Nothing.
Alright.
China.
So we're going to drop it off here. I hope you enjoyed watching this high level of information with me. And I will catch you on the next one.